Hi there, and welcome along. The rose I'm going to be reviewing for you today was only launched a year ago in 2023 by David Austin Roses at the Hampton Court Palace Flower Show. You saw the rose being unveiled at the flower show and also live here with me on the internet across the Garden accounts. This beautiful rose is Penelope Lively. Now, when I unboxed this rose live on the internet for you and shared my first thoughts and impressions with you, I knew this rose was going to be an absolute cracker. It drew an awful lot of attention in July of last year, and now 1 year on, I have the pleasure of bringing you my full Garden review. When this particular rose was launched, there was lots of comparisons being brought by yourselves about other David Austin roses within the collections, and just in front of me I also have some of those cuts so we can compare the blooms as we work for its full personal review. Now, I knew this rose was going to be good, so it's taken pride of place here on the Italian terrace, just outside the patio doors to my left, in front of our really lovely water tank water feature, where it takes pride of place. This particular rose, as I say, launched in 2023 by David Austin Roses and now available through the EU as a potted plant, is an absolute cracker. Reaching around 3.5 feet wide and around 4 feet tall, it's quite a substantial shrub, and I'm looking forward to it really softening the corner of that water feature just in front of me. Now, if you want to see me with the entire rose, please make sure that you go back through the media that I've created and have a look for the unboxing video and the first impressions video that was created this time last year during National Rose Month. It's posted to Instagram, TikTok, and of course to Facebook, and you can watch it on YouTube if you wanted to see the entire plant. But with this particular rose, also look out for the series of stills and the reel or shorts, depending on what platform you're joining me on, as well as to get a gist of how the actual plant moves itself. It has really dark emerald green foliage, which is very high gloss in its form. Then one of the nicest features about this particular rose is actually the growth tips. You've heard me talk about in videos before about complete package roses, not so only bringing together form and color and texture and of course fragrance on the flowers, but also that entire package, disease resistance, foliage color, and those lovely growth tips. Penelope Lively, as it marches forward to its first flush of flowers, and all of the flushes of flowers incidentally, and its new growth at the beginning of the season, is scarlet ruby red, a really lovely comparison against this dark emerald green foliage. Flowers are born individually and in small sprays on really lovely graceful arching stems. They're really quite large for the size of plant. You can see here this one is around 3 to 3.5 inches across. They're deeply cupped to begin with and very highly textured. They open from cerise pink buds, really deep pink buds. Then they open with this sort of watercolouring to them, a deep sort of raspberry cerise pink, and as they fade out you get this really lovely magenta colour. A silver grey hue takes over the flower, very much like Princess Anne, young Lucidius, also flushes out like this as it slowly fades. You get this lovely greying and mottling to the flower, which is really very pretty. This particular rose, as I said in my unboxing video, really looks like it's been hand painted. It is flouncy, it is fussy, it's deeply textured, really lovely. It's very highly crinkled on that top edge. Slowly but surely that deeply cut bowl opens completely flat. Those petals will peel all the way back to reveal that lovely ruffled centre, which is really very attractive. It has great disease resistance and an amazing ability to not only carry a massive amount of flowers at once, but also flower and flower. This particular rose, obviously now been in the ground with myself for a little under 12 months, produced 4 flushes of flowers from July all the way through to the back end of the season last year. I'm hoping, obviously it's only June now, I'm hoping that 4 is going to be 5 flushes of flowers. So when people ask me, Ben, I would like a rose that's continuously in flower, Penelope Lively is going to be one of those ones that I would class as a continuous bloomer. It marched on and on with wave after wave after wave. They got bigger and more impressive as the season went on. And some of the pictures I'll post to the stills of this in a moment will actually show just how many flowers that a young plant had. Obviously the plant was supplied to myself in its normal pot, which is about 7 litres in size. It went straight into the ground about 2 or 3 weeks after that, and the juvenile plant producing about 50 or 60 blooms at any one time. It was absolutely exceptional. Another really great quality with Penelope Lively is this is going to be a rose that's going to look really nice as a hedge, a nice informal habit. So if you have a boundary that you'd like to define with a rose hedge, something very, very opulent, this rose is going to look really, really nice for you. This is going to produce flowers and look really nice whether it's grown in full sun or in partial shade, and one of the few David Austin roses that does actually cut well as well. In trials at home last year, I cut blooms and take them into the house at different stages. This one lasted between 5 and 6 days in a vase, which for a David Austin rose is really, really exceptional. One of the nicest things about Penelope Lively is its fragrance. Not only is it incredibly pretty, and this one is really enchanting as far as I'm concerned, the fragrance is absolutely exceptional. It's strong, it's rich, and it's fruity, which is really important. It really is the epitome of summer. So if you like me and you like summer pudding made up of raspberries and currants and blackberries, this is the kind of thing you're going to be picking up on here. The upper notes are of citrus and lime, so you've got lemons, limes, and so, for instance, sherbet lemons. And in the very, very back, you've got those summer fruits and summer pudding smells. I think I described this as having sort of a tutti frutti, chewy sweet smell when it first arrived, which I still stick by. It really is very, very pleasant indeed. So not as only is it exceptionally pretty, has those wonderful red growth tips, but also produces masses of very highly fragrant flowers, which are absolutely perfect for cutting and bringing into the house. Right, when this particular rose was launched, comparisons were made between this and, for instance, Princess Alexandra of Kent, which I have just here, and it's not until I offer these flower up you will see just how different these two flowers are. Look at the size difference. I mean, Princess Alexandra of Kent from David Austin Roses producing some of the largest flowers in the David Austin collection. This one sometimes coming on 5.5 inches in diameter, absolutely huge, and very, very deep salmon tones to the flower. Also compared highly to Princess Anne, which obviously I draw my own comparisons to as well, but this is Princess Anne, again with that highly fluted crinkling edge, those actual heart-shaped petals with Princess Anne. This one takes on the same sort of colour hue as it ages, that lovely silver grey as it bleaches out. Comparisons were also made to Harlow Carr, which is just here, which you can see is very, very similar on the flower shape, but much, much smaller. This one producing disc-like flowers, around 2, sometimes if you're lucky 2.5 inches across, so almost an inch smaller. But it's not until you sort of offer them up and you actually see the size difference with that as well. So this is Harlow Carr. This one is Princess Anne, and this one is Princess Alexandra of Kent. All very, very different flowers, but still picking up on some traits with Penelope Lively. This particular rose ranking with me with a fragrance rating of a high 7 to an early 8 star out of 10. An exceptional variety from David Austin Roses, launched in 2023. I say lots and lots of really useful good places for this in the garden as a standalone feature shrub like I have it here, or if you want to be particularly extravagant, as a rose hedge. I hope you've enjoyed today's review. I'll see you all again very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.